Muscatine City Council, please come to order. We'll start this evening with a roll call by Fran Donaldson.
Present.
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 Lang.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you very much, Fran. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please stand.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us in council chambers this evening, everyone. If there's anyone in our audience who would like to speak to council concerning an item that is not on tonight's agenda, then would you please do so at this time? Yes. Yes. Please state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Troy Sievert. My address is 503 East 8th Street. I'd like to address the council this evening in actually kind of a semi-official capacity. My job is actually the Muscatine County Maintenance Supervisor. And in the performance of my job, I am continually using my own private vehicle to come up here and address issues at the Community Services Building, at the new county jail, around the courthouse, and different buildings in the county infrastructure. And in doing so, I am continually feeding the parking meters around town. And I inquired to some of my friends in the police department if there was some way that I might be able to get a parking permit or one of the little bags that you see the different people using, and they suggested that I come here to the city council, or not the city council, but the city hall and speak to some people here, and I did, only to be told that they do not issue these permits to county employees. And I guess what I was wondering is if this is actually city policy, or if it was more just a practice. And if it's a practice, I guess I would ask that I get, maybe some assistance in getting that. And if it's policy, maybe it's something that the council would like to reconsider and look into.
Yes. Greg, I want to come to you right now, right? First off.
I've only dealt with the issue once. I'm going to have Nancy with the parking department to address the issue.
A number of, I think it was 2 years ago, we made a change. For a while, we weren't ticketing any official city, county, state vehicles, and we had situations where people that could park in off-street lots were not parking, and they were parking on the street. So I think July of '09, we made that change, and I did at that time talk to Nancy Schreiber, and they thought that they could work it out so that people could park in the county administrative office's lot or the lot behind community services. And at that time, it was acceptable. They thought they could do that. And I hadn't received any complaints until Troy talked to me today. It's one of those things where city vehicles or vehicles with law enforcement, marked law enforcement, do not get ticketed. But the other, we did start a couple years ago asking them to park off the street.
Council, any questions, comments? I'd like to hear from you.
I would just make sure I understood her correctly, is that you use your own vehicle.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. May I suggest that you go to the county and ask them for their loose change, so to speak, as play on words, and ask them to provide you quarters to plug the meters?
I guess that would be one option. It's just, if you're aware.
Better use them, yeah.
As I'm sure you're aware that for every dime that we spend, we have to account for everything.
Yes.
And the amount of paperwork and labor involved, I've never considered it to justify, to be reimbursed for it. To me, that's just a further waste of government money. So I've been paying for it out of my own pocket without asking the county to reimburse me.
So there is a county person that I had opportunity to spend some time with recently that said, because we pulled up and stopped, and he's under the assumption that he has free reign to park in any parking spot in the city. And he might be surprised if he gets, when he gets a ticket, but he has a vehicle with a county plate on it. If we have, no. I'm not going to identify who it is now.
What gives them the idea that he is immune to parking?
Well, prior to us changing policy, it sounds like if they had a county tag on their license plate, it was an official county plate, then they waived the ticket, correct? Is that what we had or used to have, or is
That's what
am
we
I
used to
wrong?
have before 2009, yes.
Were we having a problem with too many parking spots being taken up by county workers?
In certain areas, yes, when there was available off-street parking. Especially in the annex, the courthouse administrative building lot.
So we could readdress that policy, but there again, in your situation, you're driving your personal vehicle. You don't have a county vehicle.
Right.
Unless they give you a sticker that says on official county business or.
Troy, using your personal vehicle, do you reimburse for your fuel and mileage using your vehicle?
That would be an option, but I don't claim it. I've been in this position for approximately 6 weeks now, and I have not claimed any of my mileage. And honestly, I don't see where that makes sense. If I go out of town, if I go on a trip for official county business, then it would make sense. But just back and forth to DHS, community services, to jail, to me, it's more paperwork than it's worth.
Well, personally, what I would comment is that do submit your, number one, find out what the policy is within the county, log your miles, and log the expense that you've had to put into the meter, and submit a mileage form locally. Unless they're going to provide a vehicle for you, I would assume, I don't know, that would get me in trouble, assuming.
But a mileage form isn't going to help you.
Well,
You're
yeah,
talking
if he
about
does,
parking.
if he submits mileage and parking
Should be other expenses.
together as other expenses and submit it to the county and ask for payment. But then, again, it's not for us to solve the county's issue here, but I understand, Troy, what the expenses that you're encountering.
And honestly, I mean, there's been times that I've gone to community services, paid the meter, got in my truck, started pulling away, and got a call, hey, we forgot to address this issue. By the time I can get back around, somebody else has already gotten in there, and so I have to go feed another meter.
Sure.
And it would be really convenient if I didn't have to continually feed meters. And yes, there is a parking lot behind community services. It holds approximately 15 cars, and I believe there's closer to 50 employees in that building, so the chances of finding an open slot there are actually pretty slim.
Do you want to discuss this, take it to a staff meeting? Is that going to help anything to discuss it a little bit there, or what?
We can certainly contact the county and see if this is a larger
Yes.
problem, or if we're talking one vehicle, and we can determine what the expanse or the nature of the problem is.
So I think what it
Contact the county.
comes down to, Troy, is yes, we will look into it with no promises that says, yes, there will be changes, but we will look into it and get with the county people and see if there's something that can be worked out. Under any circumstance, thank you for being here. It's certainly a valid question.
I could ask for no more. Thank you very much for
Right,
everything.
you bet. Thanks for being here. All right, is there anyone else that wishes to address council? No, I guess not. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the 8th City Council meeting of June 2nd, 2011, and B, the in-depth meeting of June 9, 2011.
So move, Your Honor.
Moved by Bob Bynum,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Phil. Discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, which includes items 8 through M, 13 through A and E, and tonight's bills?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Jerry,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Diane. Discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Under the public hearing section of tonight's agenda, this public hearing concerns the proposed amendment of Title I, Chapter 4 of the City Code pertaining to precinct and ward boundaries. State law requires that upon release of the new decennial, that word again, Fran, decennial? Yes. Census information ward boundaries be adjusted by September 1, 2011 to ensure they comply with the standards contained in the state law. Based on the 2010 census population of 22,886, each ward must have a population as close to the 4,577 as is possible. Prior to any formal action by the City Council, a public hearing is required. Now's the time for the public to comment.
Move to close the public hearing.
Move to close by Phil,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Diane. No discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Under petitions and communications, item M, presented for City Council's consideration, is a request from VFW Post number 1565 for the use of city property for a barbecue and an ice cream social on the 4th of July. The event will take place from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 421 Mulberry Avenue and the adjacent parking lot. This will be the second year for this event. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Phil,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Osama. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Item N, presented for City Council's consideration, is a request from Ruth Wilson, owner of One More Round LLC, to close East 2nd Street between Cedar and Sycamore Streets for a street dance. The event will take place on Saturday, August